to make a flip book, but I don't want the kind of flip books that you get it, you remove the presents and then you throw it in a drawer. I want to make something that you can use to decorate your house. So I'm going to give you 3 options for this flip book. So to begin with, we're going to need a piece of cardstock that measures 7 by 9 inches. And then we're going to make a mark in ½ inch in both sides and then in the bottom. And then we're going to go to 6.5, 7, and when it's ready, you can make a little, you can put a little color with your distress ink. As almost all of you know how to do it, I'm not going to stop in doing that. But you can see another videos to see how I make this technique. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold, I'm going to make the folds, and I'm going to cut the pieces that we don't need. That are these 2 pieces on the top, because this is going to be the piece that is going to help us to close the flip book. And then I'm going to cut a little piece here in the corners. You may know that we do that in order to give a better finish of our project. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make the closure. And as I'm going to use a die, I'm going to cover this part with designer paper. I'm using the collection Belle Papillon from Polka Doodles. But I'm just going to put glue in the bottom of the paper, and then you'll see why I'm doing this. So now I'm going to go, and using one of my dies, I'm going to cut the top part, and I'm going to show you how it looks when I have it ready. Just let me see that this is in the correct position. And I'll be back when I cut these pieces using these dies, okay? Okay, in here I have this part already cut. They measure 6 by 2 inches. And I already cut 2 more pieces in white cardstock, adding a little detail of the same dies. Now I'm going to see which is the middle, and I'm going to make a little mark, and in there I'm going to put one of these eyelets that they have the normal piece of the eyelet and then a little hook, so you can put a ribbon, or you can put it in the wall. So I'm going to use my crocodile to make the hole, but you know, it's a little difficult because you need to be sure that you don't damage the other paper. So I'm sorry, because I'm going out of the camera. But in here, I'm going to show you. You see, I have the little hole, and now I'm going to attach the eyelet. But as I told you, it's difficult. So I'm going to do it, and when I have it ready, I'll be back. Okay, see, this is the eyelet that is already attached, and now you can put glue to be sure that the paper is covered the eyelet but not the hook. So I'm be sure that I make it perfect. And if you cut exactly in the half with this kind of dies, when you cut these pieces, you are going to have two originals, or 2 right sides. Then I'm going to put a little of the distress ink, that for this project I'm using the vintage photo. and I'm going to glue it with the tacky glue to the top. I really like the way that the paper in the bottom show just a little through the lace part of these dies. But if you want to do it without the paper, is okay. Just don't forget to distress that part of the cardstock. So now I need to put the other piece. And be sure that it's dry and that you can get into the eyelet. And that's it. This is the first part. Now we are going to continue with the structure. So we need to attach 3 other pieces. But see, I want to show you first that it's perfectly aligned in both sides. And once you have the top, we can continue with the structure. We are going to attach 2 more pieces of cardstock. So I already cut my pieces that measure 7 by 6.5, and I'm going to mark a half of an inch in 3 of the sizes. And then again, I'm going to cut these pieces that we don't need. In both of these pieces. Now, be sure that you make all the folds and that you press them in both sides, because that is going to give a little flexibility to the paper, and you are going to avoid that the cardstock like broke, because sometimes when you don't mark correctly the folds and you put too many things, it looks like unprofessional or like it's like broke. So try to do it, I'm telling you, in both sides with the bone folder. And that way it's going to look crisp and more professional. So now I'm going to leave 2 of the flaps of this piece, of the top piece, in the back. And then I'm going to use the one in the bottom, that is this one, to attach my next piece. I'm going to use tacky glue, but as always, if you want to use the double side tape, you can do it. It's perfectly good. And be sure that it's exactly aligned with the top part. See? So you are going to attach the side that doesn't have the little flap. See, in here I need to recheck or double check, because I want to have it perfectly aligned. And you see, if you make it with the glue, you can have time to move it. If you make it with the double side tape, it's going to be too difficult to do this. So now when I know that it's perfect aligned, I'm going to attach the other piece. And again, using my tacky glue, I'm going to put this part in here. And I'm going to fold it to be sure that is aligned with the other piece. Okay. Now the thing that we need to do is to put the backs of the structure, and to do this I need to make three pieces that measure 6 by 6.5, and I need to make a mark in half of an inch in one of the sizes. And as I'm going to make window, the first thing that you need to do is to cover with the designer paper that you're going to use. So I'm going to do it very quickly, and when I have it ready, I'm going to show you how they look and how are we going to cut the window. You can use whatever shape of window of a die that you have, or if you don't have die, you can cut it with ruler and with an X-Acto knife, and you can make the window in just as a square shape. So in here I'm putting very quickly the paper to cover this piece, and I'm going to do the same with the other trees, and I'll be back when they are ready, okay? So in here I have my three pieces, and I have this die. So this is the die that I'm using, that is also from Polka Doodles. It came with 3 pieces. I'm going to use the center one. And once you have the windows, what we're going to use is acetate or transparency to glue it to this part. But be sure, if you have a special shape like this, that the little flap that we made is in the bottom. So I'm going to remove the protector of the double side tape, that in this case I really recommend you double side tape to be sure that is glued perfectly. And I'm going to cover my window. So now we return to the back of our flipbook or our structure, and I'm going to attach these pieces here. I'm using the 2 flaps that we made in the sides, and I'm going to glue them to my piece of paper or my piece of cardstock that has the window. So I'm going to glue here. And well, I like to put first the bottom to be sure that it's going to be aligned. I think that is easier this way. And as you can see, the paper in this collection is just beautiful. When I saw it, I couldn't resist it, and I need to buy it. So in here you're going to have a pocket that when you use it as a flip book, you are going to be able to put your presents, but when your friend get it, she's going to be able to put pictures. We're going to make the same thing with the other 2 pieces. And you can make them as long as you want. Maybe you know that your friend has 5 kids. Well, maybe it's a good idea to put 5 different pockets, so she can make she can put all the pictures of her kids or her grandkids in the same portrait. Okay, so this is the second part, and now when I'm putting the third part, I noticed that we are not going to use the flap in the last part because we have this flap in here. So I'm just going to cut it. See? and I'm going to attach it. And look, this is the way it's going to look in the back. I think it's beautiful, isn't it? Now, as you already know how to cover with the paper, I already covered the front, and we are going to make the little pockets that are going to be here. That they are the ones that we are going to use to put some of the presents. So for that reason, I cut this piece of paper, this piece of cardstock that measured 3 inches for 7, and again I make a half an inch in 3 of the sides. And now I'm going to use this sponge to put a little detail. If you don't have a sponge, it's okay, you really don't need it. It's just that I want that it looks like lace. And when you make these flaps, you are going to be sure that you can put more things in your pockets. If you just glue them without the flaps, then the pockets are going to be very stretched. So in here I'm just going to cut the pieces that I don't need, because I don't want to show this back of the flap. And I'm going to attach them to the bottom in here. I'm going to put a little of the vintage ink so everything match and looks like it's old. Remember that when you distress something, you need to distress all the pieces in order to look correct. Because I have seen some projects that they put the ink in some pieces and in others not, and it looks like weird. So remember to put in everything. And I'm going to glue them here. And then I'm going to put the designer paper on the top. So let's see. Again, be careful to put it aligned and that you don't have extra glue that can damage your project. And when I finish doing that, well, now that I have all my sides done, it's time to decorate it. I'm going to make it in a very simple way, and I'm going to use these beautiful butterflies that came in the bundle of this paper. If you're going to buy it, I highly recommend you to buy the complete set and not pieces, because all the pieces are beautiful, and if you buy them by itself, you are going to spend more money. So in here, if you want to put some flowers, you can do that, but for me, I think that the butterfly is enough. I think that looks adorable. I don't know you. Please let me know in the comments, what do you think? So in here we have the space for the pictures. And now, in the other side, I'm just going to put these little bows to finish this part. And in here, well, you can put all the presents that you want. I'm going to use some of the cards that also came in the collection that I think they are super beautiful. And well, now I need to see what else I'm going to put in here. And at the end, you can close it with a ribbon in here. And thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please give me a like, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That you can do it in the red button in the bottom of this video. And also I'm going to leave the links for the products. And thank you again, and bye bye. See you soon.